BTC dominance is still nearing its all-time highs. Alt season has came and gone, not really. Meme coin trenches have imploded, and now we're all getting to the point that Thread Guy got to, that maybe you should just be holding Bitcoin. I know I did. I've only been in crypto for like 4 years, which is kind of a long time, but I never really held Bitcoin until a year ago. I don't know how I let that happen, but after I lost most of my money in the AI meta and then the meme coin meta, I was like, maybe I should just stick to the basics and hold majors. But then I was like, it's kind of boring. Like, you put it in your Soulflare wallet, you don't touch it, it's in your ledger, and it's just like, okay, I hope the price goes up, but when it chops, I can't do anything with it, and when it goes down, all my money's down. But then, introducing Bitcoin DeFi, especially on SUI, basically places that you can park your Bitcoin that you're holding long term so that you can earn yield on it. Whether that's lending, through LPs, restaking, whatever it may be, there's a lot of cool places that are low risk enough for me on a personal level to be okay with parking a lot of my Bitcoin there to earn 2 to 8% APR on per year, in addition to hopefully price appreciation. So in this video, let's go over 3 places on SUI that you can park your Bitcoin in to earn APR on to not only farm yield, but also airdrops. The reason why we're on SUI and not Solana or Ethereum or Base or Hype is because I'm pretty sure like 10% of the total TVL of SUI is Bitcoin and Bitcoin related stuff. So if you're doing anything Bitcoin DeFi, SUI is the place that you're most likely going to want to be for this. Right now, there are a lot of places that you can park your Bitcoin, but we're going to go over the best places that I think are worth it. First place we're going to be exploring is Momentum. It is the number 1 or 2 DEX on SUI that came out about a year ago. So it's been doing really, really well in terms of growth. And the reason why I like it is because they have a lot of incentives for their point system called bricks for their token that hasn't launched yet. So right now you can trade, you can swap, do whatever you want on here, but then you can also go to liquidity pools, categorize this by Bitcoin DeFi, BTCFI, and then we'll just categorize it by TVL. Again, you can do APR, but when you do APR, you get crazy answers like this that may not be as reliable as you think. So don't do APR here, do TVL. Right now, there's a pool for OKX Bitcoin and Wrapped Bitcoin that has 12% APR in addition to the 2.4% APR they already have here. So you can see here that the APR doesn't just come from trading swap fees. There's also a reward system that they themselves have implemented to kind of incentivize people to use this pool. Right now, you can see that plus 2% of this is from XSUI rewards that they're basically just giving to people that are in this pool. And again, what is this pool? This is a pool or liquidity pool that's basically just saying that whenever anybody wants to swap these 2 forms of Bitcoin, they might use yours. And if they do, you get fees for it. Simple as that. And in addition to that, to incentivize people to use this, OKX is also given an additional 12% APR to help incentivize people to be in this pool with their wrapped form of Bitcoin. And right now here, we can see that this 12% additional APR that OKX is offering comes from mostly an OKX bonus that they're literally just dropping to people from July 3rd to August 24th in forms of USD stablecoin, which is absurd. So they have the fee income, which doesn't make up too much of it. And then they have another one that comes from XSUI. And then they have the biggest one that comes from their personal incentive of airdropping stablecoins to people that are in this pool. This isn't something that will last for like 5 years and you can enjoy 8% APR on your long-term Bitcoin for forever, but it does last for a couple months enough for you to farm some sort of good yield on it in the lowest risk fashion. Because the biggest risk that you have in these same to same pools, which is something we're working on at My Finance, is that you can only ever earn permanent loss into one of the other assets. So there's a chance that if you deposit X Bitcoin in here, you might end up with Wrapped Bitcoin, W Bitcoin instead, which is the same asset. And another pool here that I like as well is the Lombard Finance pool. LBTC is for Lombard Finance, and right now they also have Lombard Lux, their own point system that you can then farm if you're in this pool. And in addition to that, here you can see that a lot of their rewards of this 9.5% comes from them airdropping basically these deep tokens onto people that use it. So again, you're not getting the majority of this from people actually swapping, it's more so from incentives, which is why we're in the incentivized part of these pools. Here's another 2 that you can enjoy. As you can see here, this is 120% APR in a pool between Bitcoin and SUI. So if you're bullish on both and you don't mind accidentally ending up with one or the other, this could be a good pool for you. But the distribution of rewards here comes from the fee income, 54%, which is pretty high because again, this is a SUI to Bitcoin pool. It's probably a bit more used than anything else here. And then the OKX bonus as well. They're doing 50% of this 120% is in the forms of USD, and then 14% of it is in the form of SUI. So if you want to farm this pool, which again, it has pretty high TVLs, 2 to 10 million is pretty high. It's pretty good, I would say. Then you could farm these short-term incentives and earn a hella APR on this. And let's say in 3 months, they stop these incentives, that's fine. Just pull your liquidity and do whatever you want. The second place that you can park your long-term Bitcoin on SUI is Blue. Bluefin, a different DEX that also has a perp system. This, however, does already have a token that's been distributed, so you can't really farm an airdrop from this from them, but we'll still go into where you can actually park your Bitcoin. Here, they have a lending. You could supply wrapped Bitcoin here in the form of WBTC or Lombard Finance Bitcoin and earn up to 5% on it. And again, here's the supply APR breakdown. It's not all from the lending. A lot of it comes from Alpha, Deep, and Blue, incentives from other tokens to make people want to do this. Once you supply this, other people can borrow it and do whatever they want, but you get interest-based APR here. So that's like 5%. Which again, I know what you're thinking, I only have 0.5 Bitcoin. Even that's a lot. First of all, you're rich. 60K worth. If you're earning 5% on 60K, that's like $3,000 a year, which is $250 a month. That's like your insurance, man. Your car insurance paid for. I mean, it's better than nothing. And then you can also supply Lombard Finance Bitcoin here, which is about 4%. That's like entirely from the base APR. It's not from any incentives, which is really high. You can also have BTCFI categorized here, and you can get up to 50% APR in 27% of it being fees, 20% of it being rewards. If you want to LP here for SUI, Lombard Finance, and then you can also do this one, which is a much more safe one because this is two forms of the same asset, Lombard Finance to wrap Bitcoin, and you can get 10% on this, which is still pretty high. TVL here isn't insane, but it's still enough for you to be like, okay, let me farm this for a few months or a few weeks and then just pull it and put it somewhere else. And the last place is a protocol we've already talked about before, StatLayer. If you haven't seen my video, go watch that on what it does and what restaking is. But you can basically commit two different forms of wrapped Bitcoin here that we talked about before, XBTC, which is from OKX, and Lombard Finance, LBTC. And you can get right now, only for OKX one, 10% APR on this. I'm actually in this pool, so I can confirm that it works. I have like 0.03 Bitcoin in here, as you can see. And from these rewards from a couple of weeks, I have like $25 worth of rewards. Again, $25. That's like 2 drinks from Dunkin' Donuts. But again, it's $24 more than you would have had. In addition to that, it's simply restaked here. It's not really in an LP. It's not lending. If you don't care about APR and you want to farm these points for these different protocols, then you can restake your Lombard Finance and StatLayer as well. You won't get any APR on this, as you can see here, but you do get a bunch of points for StatLayer, Babylon, and Lombard. And if their airdrop is fat, it might be worth it. And that is 3 different places that you can park your long-term Bitcoin on SUI to farm yield and airdrops. See ya.